Katie Rasmussen?
No, I only had a goldfish. It's the only pet I've ever had, and her name was Juicy.
I used to have a pet turtle. I used to have a pet fish. And I used to have a pet pig.
I've never had pets. I only had a goldfish. It's the only pet I've ever had.
I used to eat like goldfish as a kid. I used to like swallow goldfish, so I don't think you're supposed to do that either. But I would just eat the fish out of the bowl.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I thought it was honestly food. I was young. I was like 5.
I only had a goldfish. It's the only pet I've ever had, and her name was Juicy.
I don't know. I thought it was honestly food. The majority of people, they're really picky on what they spend their money on. They're really selective, and I feel very honored that so many of you selected to spend your hard-earned money on something I created. That's a big deal to me. That's a really big deal to me. I don't think you understand that. Like, I'm like really, really, really appreciative of it, you know? Because I do put a lot of work, and I pour my heart and soul into these books. I really, really do, guys. It definitely was written in 2 days, as most of my books were. I think the longest might have been a week I spent on a book. Because I do put a lot of work, and I pour my heart and soul into these books. I really, really do.
I wrote 2 in 1 week.
I'm sure you could.
I am nothing but honest in this book. And when I went to go write this book, I wanted nothing but honest.
That's a lot of fiction, because a lot of it's like it's a lot of lies, but there's some based in truth too. I think I promoted it as truth.
I wanted nothing but honest.
But there's a lot of lies in there. But I wanted it to be like made into like a movie or something.
If you judge me for this book, you're judging me just on my whole entire life.
The book she wrote 10 years ago contradicts almost everything she said about a child and grew up. The book I wrote 10 years ago, I'm 23 years old. I'm protecting everything. I'm writing my own story. That's not reality.
There's a lot of information and content in here that is just real.
I wrote like 6 books, and I didn't have an editor, so when you read them, people are like, who like, I can't read this book. There definitely was like lies in there. People were catching it because I wrote this book called The Stripper Diaries.
People love a lie.
Yeah, I know. But like I said I wrote these like diaries during my stripper years, and someone caught me because I said I was like doing it on my iPhone. Like the iPhone wasn't out until 2009, and I was saying it was like 2003. I did write a book called like The Stripper Diaries, but it was like a lot of that was made up because like I just filled in some parts to make it entertaining. But
There's not, like I said, there's no fluff on it.
I have a couple autobiographies. They're out on Amazon, self-published from Amazon Publishing, where I get a couple $100s a month from them, so someone's buying them somewhere. But those are lies, so don't worry that. I want to do a truthful one. I think I exaggerated like a lot of the story.
It's really just raw and real.
Like, I used to love to bring others down because it kind of made me feel like they could be at my level if I was bringing them down.
I've never maliciously tried to bring someone down.
I'm unhappy in my own life, and everyone else looks so fucking happy that I'm like, well, fuck them. Let me try and bring them down.
I've never maliciously tried to bring someone down.
Like that's what I thrived on for so long, is like taking people down that I felt wronged me or hurt me in some way, and I always thought I was justified.
Jason Nash has 549,000, does not follow me, has kids, kind of hot, like, not gonna lie. He looked really familiar. I want to say I think I saw him on Tinder. I like Googled him, and he was like known for Vine, but I never got into Vine. No shade towards Vine. Never got into Vine. Don't know any Vine stars. Like, there's no way I know him from Vine. I never watched a Vine in my life, so there's no way I know him from that.
Vine, I'm just not really a Vine person anymore. But once in a while, if I'm really bored, I will go on and just look at people. Who do I even follow? I don't even know. I follow random people. I don't follow really anyone new. It's just at the same time. That's Revive by Jason Nash.
I never saw you on Vine. Never got into Vine. Don't know any Vine stars.
This is basically it. This is my night. I get on social media. I do check Twitter and YouTube and Tumblr and Vine.
I never watched a Vine in my life.
And I'm like, oh, wait, no. Let me just look at Twitter real quick. And then I go on Tumblr, and then I go on Vine, and then it's a vortex, and I can't get out of it.
I never was on Vine.
Really? Jake, did you know Trisha is fascinated with Vine? And she talks about Vine all the time.
Yeah, I love Vine too.
Do you?
We should recreate your Vines. Thank you so much. I did that with Jason, because I wasn't like a big Viner. You know, I didn't even know about Vine. But like,
how many did you have on Vine?
I had like 40.
I never was on Vine.
Really?
I didn't even know what a blowjob was until I was like 18.
I gave $5 blowjobs on the side of the street when I was like 17. I never got money from Dave. I don't think he paid anybody.
We always pay people to do stuff. He paid me like money to one time to suck someone's toe, one time to drink someone's piss. Like, he'd always give me like $100.
You drank someone's piss? Mm-hmm. Whose?
Heath.
Is that a bottle of... Where's Heath? Dude. Heath, drink it! Dude, how much did you drink that right now? Dude, 10,000.
For you, it's your
10,000? Yeah. Hell, dude, I wouldn't even do that to you.
I would do it for 10,000.
If someone wired it to me right now,
10,000 to drink that bottle of
You don't
whatever
know
it is.
what's on that.
it's sterile. Urine is good for you.
But we don't know.
Maybe not that urine though.
What is it?
Trisha, there could be anything on that.
Whatever, we're all gonna die.
One time to drink someone's piss.
You're peeing the bottle? That means you're gonna drink it.
I said that joke 5 minutes ago. No one laughed.
There's the cup, and he.
God, Trisha gets turned on by this kind of thing. So she can't.
How much to drink it?
I'll just do it for free. I love pee.
Let me just see if it's that bad.
Like, you'd always give me like $100 bucks.
I'll just do it for free. I love pee. I never got money from Dave. I don't think he paid anybody.
We always pay people to do stuff.
I don't know what that is. What is that? The thing's trolling.
Oh, this thing right here,
Yeah.
it's all about the stock market and everything. Right?
Oh, the stock market's in New
Right.
York, which is
That's right.
exciting.
You got some
Yeah.
stocks and bonds?
No, but I should, right? I should invest.
I don't really need to know about the New York Stock Exchange. I was in stocks for a good 2 years of my life because of my dad's company, my brother's company. If you guys don't know, I was actually a computer programmer. I developed softwares to trade, the S&P future contracts. So not necessarily the stocks, but the S&P future contracts, which are, 6 months ahead of the stocks. So it's, I don't know, it's different. It's just crazy. But I was actually America's Top Day Trader. It was a TV show that never got picked up. It was a pilot. You could search it. I was actually the winner of that. So I'm a pretty good day trader, but I really don't care about the New York Stock Exchange anymore.
You're a computer programmer? Yeah, my dad's company.
And this wasn't like, I always said I was a computer programmer on shows because at the time, like, my dad did like pay me to like enter information into like an Excel sheet.
Why did you say you're a computer programmer?
They asked me to come up with another job, and my brother was a computer programmer.
I always said I was a computer programmer on shows because at the time, like, my dad did like pay me to like enter information into like an Excel sheet. He was doing something with stocks and bonds or something back in the day. It was like literally just numbers I had to enter. But yeah, I was like my computer programmer. I was actually a computer programmer. I developed softwares to trade, the S&P future contracts. My dad did like pay me to like enter information into like an Excel sheet. I developed softwares. It was like literally just numbers I had to enter.
I always changed my occupations. On Ellen, I was a waitress. On America's Got Talent, I was computer programmer. Well, that was a wild one. I wonder why I said that. I don't know. I just made up stuff. My dad is a really like smart investor. He's worth like a ton of money. My dad has always been worth a ton of money. Never gave me any money, but it's been worth a ton of money. He sold a company for like $40 million when I was like 14 or something. He always invested. He's done really well. So I have a lot of S&P future contracts per my dad. So he does it for me. I never had investments. I have a lot of S&P future contracts.
I knew you were going through something, and I just felt like I don't remember feeling like it was trolling. I just felt like it was just a video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was like labeled wrong, I guess, or like
Definitely
you know
wrong.
what I mean?
No, definitely worded terribly.
Yeah. So I don't know.
There was no
I feel
non-binary back then.
He was queer, meaning it is.
I thought Q was questioning.
Okay, I'll come out as the Q. I'll be questioning. I think I'll be questioning. And there's also a new thing called bigender, where you're both genders. Look it up.
Wait, is that called bigender or is that called binary? Wait. Ooh.
Binary?
No, wait, fuck. There's a word for it. Gender queer?
Gender queer.
Like the transgender video I made, right? It's like, I really just knew myself as like non-binary, but it wasn't like a word back then.
You can be both genders these days. What is that called, you guys, when you're both genders? You go back and forth. What is that called? Like you identify as male and female. That is something. Someone tell us in the comments.
I don't know.
Someone's gonna tell us. Gender fluid. There you go. That was the term.
I really just knew myself as like non-binary, but it wasn't like a word back then.
I would like to make the announcement that I am non-binary when it comes to gender.
I've never run into anyone I've hooked up with ever.
Lucky.
That's so weird. People do all the time, and I'm like, what? I guess I don't go out, but I've never. I guess that's good. But I always hear people say that. I'm like, God, I've never not once in like 18 years living in LA have I like ran into someone I like hooked up with.
Especially because you were in like the heart of LA for so long.
Yeah,
you know?
I never saw anybody.
That's one person I've ever been with. I mean, not one. I've been with a lot of people that I haven't been with. I'm like, that's one guy I haven't been with. There's a lot of people I haven't been with, but
I hope so. I hope there are a lot of men out there that you haven't been with.
it is awkward when you see so many people. Like, you hooked up with so many people that like every time you go out, you see someone you hooked up with. You're just like, you have to like hide. So I don't like going out.
Not once in like 18 years living in LA.
Every time you go out, you see someone you hooked up with.
I've never run into anyone I've hooked up with ever. I mean, I don't mind a saggy boob. For mine are sagging. I've had the implants like 3 or 4 times. But
really?
I've had a lift so many times and mine just keep falling. I want to get mine like redone. I got them done twice and I've had the implants like 3 or 4 times. I got my boobs done twice. I've had a lift so many times and I got the implants the first time and then the second time I did like a lift with an implant. I I also never was like familiar with birth control. Like I had no idea. Even now, because we're like not trying to get pregnant anymore, I'm like, how do you do birth control without taking the pill? Like, you know what I mean? Because I've never been on birth control. Don't know. I can't do birth control pills. They make me absolutely crazy. I've never been on birth control. It was hard for me to get pregnant. I never thought I would. I never had before.
I found out I was pregnant. This was January of 2012. I'm sorry, I found out I was pregnant end of 2011.
I never had before.
Things happened that caused me to miscarry, I'll just put it that way. And I can't say I don't blame him. I always said I don't blame him. I blame him.
Like I said, it's kind of new now to think of like birth control because like never in my life have I thought about that. I haven't thought about birth control in like 10 years. Like, because like never in my life have I thought about that. I've been on birth control like once and it was like horrible. I've never done birth control either. I can't do the pills because they really do make me crazy. I tried birth control pills. I've never been on birth control and no one's ever mentioned it, said anything about like it's such a weird conversation to have.
Yeah. Like he actually like tries to get me pregnant. I don't have to like trick him or anything. Like it's insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend tricking dudes.
I think I did in the past. I don't recommend it. But
Really?
like,
What did you do?
I think I'd be like, yeah, I'm on birth control. You know, the biggest one that I used to tell people is like, yeah, I got the shot. I'm good for like 3 years.
I've never been on birth control and no one's ever mentioned it.
Moses did not fall for my tricks though. He did not fall for my tricks. I think one time he asked me, I think I might when I was on like high or something. I was like, yeah, I have a shot. But he still pulled out. He's like, I don't trust this bitch.
No one's ever mentioned it, said anything about like,
oh, people ask me like, are you on birth control? I'm like, no.
I can handle being sad.
Right.
Being panicked is crazy.
Yeah, panic. I've never had to experience that.
I really did get some severe panic attacks that like I actually was like hospitalized for because I could not control them. I was like out of control.
Panic. I've never had to experience that.
What I went through, I thought was another really severe panic attack. I've talked to you guys about I've been experiencing panic attacks more than ever. I had a really, really severe one. So I thought I was having another severe panic attack.
I've never been through one of these things. So I don't know.
I literally had a panic attack that made me pass out.
I remember going to a guidance counselor and telling her I wanted to be an actress. And she's like, well, you're too fat. Swear. She didn't say it quite like that, but she goes, sweetie, I think you need to lose some weight before you become an actress.
My guidance counselor or my career guidance counselor in school saying that, you know, entertainment's not a career.
And she's like, well, you're too fat.
Well, I thought she had said something along the lines of like, oh, well, you're not going to be that or whatever.
I remember going to my counselor and I said I wanted to be an actress, and she's like, nobody's an actress. And she's like, well, you're too fat. Discord, is that what it is, kind of?
Kind of, yeah. It literally reminds me of like AIM, like those chat room days.
I never
like,
did the chat room.
You didn't?
I was scared.
I've never like changed the name on this channel. It's been the same weird blonde sandal form J since I started when I was 18. It was my AOL, my AIM username.
Do you know why mine's blonde sundown for MJ?
And Michael Jackson?
Yeah, it was my AIM. So it was blonde sundown because I'm tan, and then for Michael Jackson. I don't know. It was my AOL username, and I've kept it ever since. I never did the chat room.
You didn't?
I was scared. I always thought like some like 50-year-old man was gonna come kidnap me out of my bedroom.
Yeah.
I used to write letters like when I was 13 to like 45, 50-year-old celebrities, and they would like fly me out to LA and stuff like that. Like so many.
Wait,
it was
what?
crazy. Yeah, it happened all the time. I never did the chat room.
You didn't?
I was scared. At 16, I was going to like visit people on set that were like 50 years old, and then your parents are like, well, why did you do that? Why did you do it behind our backs?
It literally reminds me of like AIM, like those chat room days.
I never
like,
did the chat room.
It shocks me that you weren't like a chat room girl because you were so like you sending letters to like old celebrities and stuff.
Well,
I guess that's
celebrities
different.
I was safe. Yeah. I'm like, okay, if they're old celebrities, if they kidnap me, at least there'll be a story. If it's just like some random guy down the street, it's like that's just a headline that disappeared.
Yeah.
I think the chats were like later on. Maybe there was AOL when I was, but I just didn't know.
It was my AOL, my AIM username.
Maybe we didn't have Wi-Fi because I don't know. I can't remember, but I feel like
It was
if
still like the
would've
dial-up days, like when the chat rooms
so it
were
was
a
like,
thing.
yeah, maybe we just didn't have it or something.
So youtube.com/blondesundell4MJ. Yes, it's a very, very, very old username, but I had it since I started YouTube, which is like 5 years ago. I had it like in the 7th grade on like instant chat. So,
But if I would have had access to that, I would have been like wild and for sure.
I had it like in the 7th grade on like instant chat.
I was like writing like you said, handwritten notes to people. So I don't know. Maybe there was AOL when I was, but I just didn't know. It was my AOL username, and I've kept it ever since. I've never been back since graduation. I've only been back to Illinois once, so I've never been back to Illinois since my high school graduation. Never been back. I'm from Illinois, like a little farm town, so I don't know. But
I love that video years ago with your mom. When you went back to your high school.
I never go home. I'm from Illinois, and I haven't been home since I graduated high school. I I'm like, I've been misdiagnosed because there wasn't borderline when I was like your age. There wasn't borderline when I was like your age.
I was diagnosed with bipolar, borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, and multiple personality disorder like the whole time of my life.
Since you were a kid?
Yeah, since I was like 14.
I worked at a tanning salon before, and you literally clean it like literally as soon as someone leaves. You're like, bye, thank you, and then you go in and clean it. I couldn't get hired at a tanning salon. Wait, what? No, you were living the life. You worked at a tanning salon. You had to be attractive to work at a tanning salon.
Wait, what? I was living the life working at a tanning salon?
Yes, nobody hired me at a tanning salon. That was my dream job. I worked at a tanning salon before. I once was accidentally, when I was like 20, in this like, I guess it was like I don't know, Corn. It was a Corn movie, which I didn't know. I was like background. They just basically were paying you like such a high rate. It was when I was on LA Casting. It was like $1,500 for like, I don't know, 8 hours of work.
And it was $150 for 8 hours work as a background.
And they paid cash, and I was like, oh my God, absolutely. Because back then it was like usually $64 for 8 hours. So I was like, $1,500, yes.
If you're non-union like I was at the time, you usually only get about, well, now it's $64 for 8 hours. So I was like, wow, $150 for 8 cash. That's really amazing.
So I was like, $1,500, yes. And it was to be background.
My sister and I told you about the board we did.
Oh, yeah. That was funny. Did you get paid?
$100. $300.
She was background.
We held the iPhones because they were doing it like amateur. So we were like holding the iPhone, but we weren't getting close. We were just like holding it like this. They had like professional film people too, but we were just like holding. So our face is like, so you can see us, like it's just behind. You can see my hair. My sister's hair is so different, but like you can see mine. I'm just like holding it like this.
And it was like a male strip club. This was like Jimbo's on Hollywood, I remember. And it was like, yeah, you're gonna watch male strippers, and you're just gonna like be in the audience. I was like, okay, cool. But what they didn't tell us is like there was other corn stars there like filming with them, so they were like just full on. And I didn't know that. So you're like watching, cheering them, and they would go around, and these girls would like do stuff with them. And I was like, oh my God, are we supposed to do that? Like it was so embarrassed. It was so awful. It was the worst thing ever. And we didn't. We were just the background people, but like you're still in there. This was before like OF and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. It was so awful. Just at the time because I was like 20. And like that was not my path at the time.
I always thought porn stars were so glamorous. I loved Howard Stern when I was a kid too. I loved Disney Channel, but I also loved Howard Stern. And I used to watch him all the time on E. And they would show like nudity after midnight. And I always thought, oh, I want to be one of those porn star girls. But yeah. I was always back to social media. I think I tried. I think when I was 18, I was like, I'm going to be a porn star. But like nobody wanted me. Even though there's like a fetish for fat people, I wasn't fat enough back then to do that.
Stop it.
And so I wasn't skinny enough either. So nobody wanted me for like porn.
I wasn't. Oh my God, that was so embarrassing. It was so awful. Just at the time because I was like 20. And like that was not my path at the time. I think when I was 18, I was like, I'm going to be a porn star. But like nobody wanted me because I was like 20. And like that was not my path at the time. I definitely was like a hooker on the street at 20.
$150.
$100.
Like $1,500. Like I grew up in a small town, and we always put on Joseph because it was like a small conservative town, so we were always putting on Joseph. And I never got casted as any of the big parts. Even when I was high school, like I never got casted to be in anything. I was always just like in the choruses. And I just remember, and my relatives were like the director. They were kind of like in charge of the thing. So I honestly should have had the in, right? Like to be. Anyways, they never casted me, and I was always so bitter about it.
This one's bad. I was raised a quitter, but I was. My mom would let me quit stuff if I didn't like it. Like I quit a school play like a week. That was bad. No, that was bad actually. My mom let me quit a play a week before the opening night. That was a pretty big part. Oh my God, why did I do that?
But I was never casted as like a lead. I was always a background orphan in Annie, a background actor in The Music Man, like the Munchkin and the Wizard of Oz, but never the main one. Because I was mid-talented. I wasn't the most talented. I could have at least been like the president of Munchkin Land or something. I didn't have to be Dorothy.
My mom let me quit a play a week before the opening night. That was a pretty big part. I've never seen a movie Death Becomes Her. I actually lied today, and I've been doing really good on my lying. I've really worked hard to not be a liar anymore. Within the past few years, I'm like, let me just not lie. And it always be stupid stuff. Like today, I was like, yeah, I've seen Death Becomes Her, because I didn't want to be that person, but I never saw it, so I didn't know like the story.
Death Becomes Her is weirdly becoming like a thing now for all these young people. I loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
But it's like weird that it's like making its comeback. It's I love it. It's on Broadway right now too, actually, with Megan Hilty. It's like so weird. It's like coming back, but I love it. It's just like, oh God, the original Meryl Streep. Have you seen it? Goldie Hawn?
Yeah.
It's just so good.
I had a film class actually that we had to watch it in
Really?
college.
We didn't grow up with the internet, you know?
I think the internet, like dial-up becoming like more accessible was like the big like shift.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Interesting. That's so interesting.
Yeah, because I feel like that's probably a shift, and then like social media blowing up is like the other shift between like millennial and Gen Z. You know,
for sure. We didn't have it in high school. We didn't. I think MySpace maybe my senior year, but I wasn't on it. I didn't get it till like I did like once a half semester of college.
Because for me, I remember like my big MySpace year was like 8th grade. I want to say.
Yeah, so that would make sense. Yeah, but the fact that kids had like internet
internet, like you had internet, because I was like, how are you even like aware of the world? Like I wasn't aware of the world at 10. We had the internet in our house before anyone else did. Like it was super slow and dial up, but like we were like always on like the cutting edge of technology. We didn't grow up with the internet.
YouTube.com/blondesundell4nj. Yes, it's a very, very, very old username, but I had it since I started YouTube, which is like 5 years ago, and I had it like in the 7th grade on like instant chat.
I didn't have internet until I was 18. I think at the time I was like meeting so many celebrities that were like, you know, hitting on me. I don't know. I was kind of like an it girl at 18 years old. Like I was just meeting so many celebrities, like 18 to 21, just like the worst kind of guys I met. Total users, but you know, you at 18, 21, you think you're gonna like date these people. I don't know. I was kind of like an it girl at 18 years old. No one was obsessed with me like that. I had like the Z-list 65-year-olds, but 18, I was still fresh and kind of like, you know, I was meeting all the celebrities and being the cool girl. I dated like Z-listers, but 18, I was still fresh.
Think about where we were when we were 18, right? Like we were doing things that we probably shouldn't have been doing to pay our bills.
I was definitely a hooker in Santa Monica, yeah.
Gene Simmons did a follow-up interview with the Daily Mail and said that I stand by every word I said. I had a great time. The contestants were great. The show was great. So he has no regrets.
I think he's just
just
you know, needs to be committed or something. Because like, what? How are you so unaware? Like, how is someone not around and be like, oh, you can't say that, you shouldn't say that?
Yeah.
I guess again at that age you don't care. You're just like whatever. Like I don't know, but ew.
Yeah.
On so many, I've always turned him down. I was offered the Gene Simmons Family Jewel show to play a hooker in his limo, and I was like, no, because at the time I was an actual hooker, and I was thinking, well, the whole world think I'm a hooker. And it was like, I guess reality TV they wouldn't think that. I was so nervous because I was hired to play a hooker, and in real life I was a hooker. So I was like so nervous that people back home would know. They're like, oh, they're gonna see this and think that I was a hooker. Like I was asked to be on Gene Simmons show as a hooker, and I was just like, I just don't want it to seem real. So I was so nervous that people back home thought I was a hooker, and they did. They're like, oh, she's in this video, she's a hooker. So I was like, they found me out. Because at the time I was an actual hooker, and I was thinking, well, the whole world think I'm a hooker. And it was like, I guess reality TV they wouldn't think that. And to me also, I've always wanted to like expose myself. Like for me, when I was like a stripper or an escort, I always had people be like, I'm gonna tell people you're a hooker. I'm gonna tell people we did this. And so to me, I was like, I just would rather expose it. I'm not promoting Keemstar again. I don't really know anything about him at all, but I know a lot about Keemstar. He kind of always like looked out for me. I remember there was one time I was getting canceled, and he's like, you know, he's connected to YouTube very much. Like he's very much connected. He talks to people at YouTube. I've never had a connection.
I have like a YouTube like style home manager that does like manages like YouTube stuff.
I've never had a connection. I don't really know anything about him. I know a lot about Keemstar. I don't really have like history with like domestic violence or anything like that, like done to me or anything. Like I had one boyfriend who just beat the shit out of me all the time. When I was like 17. I don't really have like history with like domestic violence or anything like that, like done to me.
I was in a physically abusive relationship twice. I was in a physically abusive relationship, but and both times they were with black guys. I had a scare years ago, like 10 years ago. I got something removed and stuff like that, but I don't think it was actually that basal whatever. I don't remember it being that. They had told me it was like pre-cancerous. But back, I did have cancer.
You did?
Yeah.
Where?
And my lower back, they like, I think the scar is gone from my liposuction now when they did it, but they took out a little bit of skin cancer in my lower back. Chloe had skin cancer, right? She had like on her
she had a scare. Yeah.
Yeah,
she
or
had
something. I had some removed off my back years ago too. I had like a whole video put up about it, and then I never posted it. It was like 10 years ago. They had told me it was like pre-cancerous. I don't know what that even means though. Like, I don't know either. You know, so like I had something removed on my back like a while ago, like probably 12 years ago.
Because usually they take it out and then they test it to see if it actually is. Because from outside you can't know unless they do a biopsy.
Oh, so they probably do they take?
Because for me too, when I was a kid, they took something out, but then we never heard back. So I guess it was fine.
They just never followed up? Oh, okay. Wow, they followed up. I'm like, it's pre-cancerous. But I was like, but I didn't do anything after that. This goes to show, like, I did that My Contradiction, and I was just like, oh, you know, I don't even care if I get cancer. And then, like, boom, it like probably will happen to me. So
you did have a little skin cancer.
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
Thanks for manifesting that, TLC.
So you did have an addiction to tanning.
Of course.
Okay, good.
I felt fat. Tanning made me feel skinny. Like, of course I did. But the problem was also that show was really traumatic because they tried to test me for skin cancer on the show, and I actually Yeah, and I walked off the show. If you watch my
Wait, did you have it?
That. Prior to that, I had skin cancer removed. Thanks for manifesting that, TLC. Prior to that, I had skin cancer removed, so I didn't want to get tested because I thought they were trying to get me set up to make me look like I'm an idiot. Because I continued tanning after I had cancer in my backside. They had told me it was like pre-cancer, and so I didn't want. I don't talk about this either because I just don't like people like this. Well, this happened and you continue to tan and you did this, so this is a lot. Like I just hate this shit because I don't mind explaining myself. It's just like I don't always want to be explaining myself because I'm like she always has to explain herself, whatever. But with stuff like really personal, like the tanning addiction, like it's easier for me to be like it was a joke.
That was a lie. I made it up to be on the show.
Didn't lie about skin cancer, like none of that. Like that's the thing. People think they know everything, and it's like You lied about having skin cancer from tanning. I didn't, so.
I would love the superpower to get people to tell the truth. Like, they have to tell the truth no matter what. Because, okay, I used to be kind of like a liar, like when I was young, like in school. Because I was always trying to impress people and stuff. Okay, and then when I got over that and like realized I didn't have to impress anyone anymore, then I stopped. But people just lie so much about stupid things. Like, I hate it. It just drives me nuts. And so I would want the power to have people tell the truth.
I hate liars so much.
I used to be. I don't lie anymore, but I did used to lie a lot. Breathing, meditation helped me stop lying because I used to like lie about like just stupid shit all the time. Like, what is my problem? Why can't I stop lying? So I've done really good since meeting Moses and stuff. Like, seriously, I used to be a really bad liar, but I actually don't lie anymore. I've really come over that. I would lie all the time. I would lie all the time, and I got better with it. I lie about a little thing. I never lie especially when I say someone's name or something. Like, I don't lie about that because that's easily verified. I never lied about anything serious because I'm like, it does get brought to light. I love lying to people in real life. I lie for no reason. I used to lie a lot too. Like, that's a lie for no reason to match people. Normalize lying for fun. I love when people just lie for fun. I lied for fun too. Sometimes it's just fun to lie. This is what's scary about liars is sometimes you start believing it. I love a liar. I love people who just lie for no reason. I was also a pathological liar, and I love to lie.
And I've been doing really good on my lying. I haven't really worked hard to not be a liar anymore. Within the past few years, let me just not lie.